Hi, my name is George Oliver III, and this is my self-reflective project. My feelings about public speaking prior to attending this class was great. Because of my own experience, I've become somewhat better at public speaking with each time I've done it. The larger the crowd and the more often I did it, the easier it becomes. A more realistic approach for me is to know the information that I'm talking about. Then that way I'm able to speak about it and feel comfortable telling a large group about it. I like to go over my speech at least 2 or 3 times so that I'll feel better about speaking. I have a lot of public speaking experience coming out of high school. I was completely petrified of speaking in front of anyone until I started high school. There I had to do a 5 minute speech, 10 minute speech, and the one that really mattered determined whether I graduated or not. My senior presentation, the 20-minute speech. The 20-minute speech is what I was really nervous about. I didn't have to speak in front of the class or anything, but a panel of teachers that were going to grade me. I was not worried about material to speak about. I was more worried about stumbling over my words and stuttering and anything else that could go wrong. And how could I drag out a 20-minute presentation and keep it interesting? I feel very comfortable with my communication skill because I have the ability to turn poor communication around. I gain the ability to efficiently communicate with anyone regardless of topic or difficulty. These are skills I will take with me for the rest of my life. I do not have any performance experience, but I have set personal performance goals and I have planned to keep control over the achievement of my goals and draw satisfaction from them. The speech delivery challenge was that I was lacking in energy, confidence, non-engaging with the audience, no eye contact, weak voice, facial expression. My delivery improved somewhat. I have learned a lot about visual presentation from engaging my audience to making my message resonate and telling my story the right way. My visual presentation was great before I started at Full Sail University. It improved a lot more while taking public speaking. If I had to create a visual, I would first give a visual presentation because it would be very worthwhile for me to make a visual aid. Because visual aids will help listeners stay engaged in my topic, and it can also be very helpful to viewers with more visual learning style, who may also be able to process and retain more information from my talk if they could also see it. There are different types of visual aids that I can create, but a poster display is relatively convenient. I tend to get very nervous when I get up to give a presentation. Also, I tend to talk fast. I think my audience responded to my presentation very well because I was prepared for everything, and personally, I find that to be the job addressing an audience. The type of feedback I offered my classmates was about practicing delivering their speech a few times and asking their friends or family to listen to them give their speech and to provide some feedback about what they did well and what they should change. I offered my classmate written response posts. I really don't know if my classmate benefited from my feedback. I did spend time practicing my speech at least 2 or 3 times a day so that I could reach my potential. I had plenty of delivery and technology errors while doing my presentation. The way I corrected the error was to reshoot my presentation. The speech that I really liked and enjoyed doing was media review assignment on NFL Madden 13. The one I didn't like doing was the introduction video in public fear. I learned a lot from watching TED Talk this month. The one thing that I really learned was that change is not easy. In order to change, you must not only be aware that change is needed, but you must have the motivation to start, and even then, it's also tough to have the discipline to keep it going. I learned a lot about delivery from Sir Ken Robinson, Nancy Durant, and Gar Reynolds, and that success in all aspects of life is directly linked to how well you speak and use your persuasive skills. My biggest delivery challenge overall is eye contact, and my greatest strength in terms of presentation is that I'm able to handle unexpected issues smoothly. How would I rate myself on my public speaking and presentation? I would give myself a 3 on a scale of 0 to 5 because of poor eye contact. My feelings about presentation after my experience this month is that I would love to do presentations. I learned a lot this month about public speaking and doing presentations, and that it's better for me to practice because I will never know when I might be called upon to speak. Perhaps in classes to answer a question, perhaps in a meeting to give my opinion, perhaps I might be asked to speak at a wedding, perhaps I might want to share my feelings at a council meeting. We can improve our skills by practicing, of course. We may find it embarrassing to practice in a live situation. If so, you can always join local public speaking clubs like Toastmasters and practice in a safer environment. If I were to facilitate a workshop and it were only an hour long, I would cover the basis of content, introduction, body, conclusion, and delivery, hand gestures, eye contact, and vocals, varieties. There is an especially fun eye contact game where you can ask all the audience members to keep their hands up if they feel that they are receiving enough eye contact. This really keeps the speaker on his or her toes. The hardest part is to stop yourself from laughing the whole time. In my opinion, public speaking will help me fine-tune my everyday verbal and nonverbal communication skills. This is especially true for me because I spend a great deal of my time working with written words and have forgotten how to properly vocalize their messages to get my point across best. It's important because at some point in life I will be required to involve myself in one type of public speaking or another. Accepting this fact quickly and preparing for it accordingly will help me wind up a step ahead of my competition at work, home, and around town. For obvious reasons, the ability to dive into public speaking and relate communication skills are a big runner among prospective employers and are also a great way to snag that promotion you've always wanted for such a long time. Public speaking, the ability is a true career booster.